Christian Horner chap in the battle ongoing between the Red Bull team principal and Mercedes TP, Toto the boy who cried wolf. Surely now it's definitive enough that we can say this without hesitation nor compunction. Surely, Patrick, welcome, sir. Thank you so much. I don't know, I'm thinking about it, and every time these guys come together and exchange barbs, it seems now that Christian Horner gets the best of it. The latest iteration of the battle between the two protagonists, the two team principals, is Christian Horner saying, listen mate, you've got other things to go and deal with over at Mercedes. Stop pursuing Max Verstappen. He has a contract with the Bulls that are red. What are you doing, Toto? Your first order priority at this point surely is to go and fix your SH1T box, or no? And I agree with Christian Horner. This is why, guys and girls, for the longest time I've said without compunction that Christian Horner, if I'm going to have a team principal in the trenches with me, if there is one man on the grid of the 10 that I'm going to go to war with, it will be Christian Horner each and every single time, because he is going to war. There is nothing that he will not do. In May of 2024, he said as much on Netflix, something to the effect of, if you really want something, whether that's a championship, drivers, constructors, otherwise, if you really want it, then you will do anything to get that thing. And the question that I'm asking of Toto the boy who cried wolf at this stage in his career, billion-dollar businessman and all, is, does he really want it that much? Because if he wanted it, there are questions that we need to ask. Why then let Lewis Hamilton go? Surely if you wanted it, if you really wanted it that bad, to help this chap win the 8th, to get your team back to the top step of the podium, surely then, as a requisite, you do what needs to be done to keep Lewis, Carl Davidson, Hamilton. You offer him a ambassadorial role, a brand deal as an example. You give him that check and a pen and get him to write his own numbers, surely. Similar thing with Adrian Newey, the goatiest F1 mind that's ever F1'd. Give that fella a blank check and ask him what his number is. Get him to write it down. And because I'm not seeing these things in real time, I think there are questions that need to be asked of one Toto the boy who cried wolf. In earnest, in all seriousness. Because where are we going as at May 2024 as Mercedes fans? Because I don't know. I'm not sure. And this isn't to say they haven't improved. There are green shoots as per the Miami Grand Prix. At some point during the second stint, some say that Lewis Hamilton was the 4th fastest man on track. 4th, not 8th or 9th or 10th, which is what Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton fans have become used to. 4th. That, of course, is positivity, Jomo. That is absolutely improvement, especially if recent trend is truth. If past is prologue, the Mercedes fans can rejoice now. Well, not quite, because 6th isn't first. 4th is not first, nor is second. Second, some say, is the first loser. And Mercedes, as at May 2024, are nowhere near there. And that is in no small part to bad stewardship, poor leadership. You've heard the numerous sound bites from one Toto the boy who cried wolf. He can't help but put his foot in his mouth. And the latest barb, the latest time, this latest instance when Christian Horner has pulled the rug out from underneath the Mercedes team principal. Here's what Christian said. Mate, what are you talking about? You keep getting CVs. We've stolen upwards of 200 Mercedes employees from underneath your nose over the past couple of years to come over to Red Bull and build our power units for us. What are you talking about, Toto? 2026 is around the corner and power units are going to be super important, mission critical, even if you harbour aspirations of winning yourself a championship. So what are you talking about, Toto Wolff? What, you've got a couple CVs from a couple Red Bull minions? Yeah, well, how about the 200 power unit builders that we've stolen from underneath your nose, Toto Wolff? What about those? You'll remember Christian Horner on the Netflix series telling Toto Wolff, when discussing in heated manner, when discussing porpoising, Christian Horner turned round to Toto Wolff and told that fella, why don't you fix your effing car, mate? Stop worrying about me and mine and Checo Perez. I don't care what you've got printed out. Print it out. Who even prints things out anymore? What are you talking about, Toto? Are we in the dark ages here, chap? I've got it printed out. Fix your car, Christian Horner said. And then rewind back to 2021 when Christian Horner outmaneuvered Toto Wolff at every single quarter. Christian could have had Red Bull focus on the 2022 car, but he didn't want to do that. He wanted to win 2021 because a bird in the hand is always worth two in the bush. Finish your breakfast. That's exactly what Toto Wolff needed to do. But I know, what did Toto, the boy who cried wolf, do? He decided he was going to divest out of the 2021 car and concentrate on the 2022 car with new rules and regs incoming. And it looks good on paper, sound as far as processes and decision making, surely, but it didn't work out. We all know how that story ended, and it didn't end well. It didn't pay off for Toto Wolff and the boys and girls from Brackley and Brixworth, did it? Christian has been running circles around this chap every single time. Silverstone. Now, we can argue the merits of what happened on track, but what happened afterwards, what happened post the Silverstone race that year, is testament, is the reason why I am carrying Toto Wolff into battle with me each and every single time. Lest we forget, that guy told you on Netflix, again for the avoidance of doubt, if you really want something really badly, then you will do anything to get that thing. Drivers' Championship, a race, constructors, whatever that is. Christian Horner embodies that sentiment, and that's what we saw at Silverstone, much to the disenchantment of cult LH all around the world. You incite X, you incite Y. And I hear that argument, but again, for the avoidance of doubt, if you really want something, you will cross lines, you will do anything to get that thing. That, ladies and gents, is Toto, is Christian Horner even. Imagine, Freudian slip Cameron. I wish it was Toto Wolff, but it is not. And there will be questions asked of Toto Wolff and his decisions and some of his sign bouts and the fact that he hasn't been able to get it done against Christian Horner for the longest time now. Go back to 2021. What is it now? 2024. This will be the fourth year even, back to back to back. I'm reminded of a Nas lyric when I try and characterise the back and forth between Horner and Toto Wolff. The lyric is thus: your arms are too short to box with God. I don't kill soloists, only kill squads. That's where we're going with this. That's what Christian Horner, that's how Christian Horner will be looking at Toto Wolff right now. Easy money, slim pickings, challenge me. Christian Horner will be saying. Toto Wolff coming out talking about employees after having lost 200 to Red Bull over recent years, so they can go and fix their power unit. Behave yourself. Matthew Brown, far too kind, sir. I'm a Max fan, but Horner has his own fires to put out. Adrian is one. Max has had many opportunities to shut down movement rumours, but doesn't fully shut the door. Pierre Vacher may have extended contracts, but clearly everything can change. Matthew Brown of the NC Paddock F1 God tier YouTube channel. Go and check that out. Appreciate you, sir. But I would respectfully, sir, disagree. I think there are fires putting out, but small ones. Small ones only. Vacher's extended last year. So too Enrico Balbo early this year, I want to say February. And those, for the avoidance of doubt, were the two key people that Red Bull needed to extend in the event that one Adrian Newey, that they weren't able to keep him then. Max Verstappen's not going anywhere, not anytime soon. I know that they had a conversation this weekend just past. Toto Wolff, Ola from Daimler AG, and Raymond Vermeulen, Max Verstappen's manager. They would have had a conversation, and the conversation would have gone something like this. Max, 2026, how's that Red Bull powertrain looking? Not so good, I hear. Why don't you come across the Mercedes? We'll have a sick God tier engine for you, ready to go in 2026. Don't like George Russell, but why don't you come and partner with Andrea Kimi Antonelli? That would have been Toto's pitch, to which Max Verstappen would have responded, you know what, mate, I'm all right. This Red Bull car is a rocket ship. RB20 is the most dominant car that we've ever seen. Okay, so it has problems. It's sensitive as far as its setup. It didn't work necessarily to the best of its abilities around Miami, cool. But 99% of the time around the calendar, the tracks that we visit in 2024, we know that the Red Bull's going to be dominant. That doesn't mean to say that McLaren are not closing the gap. Because they are, Jomo. They are closing the gap. Are they not? As are Ferrari et al. Don't forget Hannah and Jonathan, Matthew, I'm coming to it. There are risks in that Red Bull team currently. The news of Jonathan Wheatley breaks today that he doesn't like the fact, hesitates at the new contract with Red Bull because he doesn't like the fact that there's much upward mobility, because Jonathan Wheatley harbours aspirations to be the next Christian Horner, to be the next Red Bull team principal, doesn't he? And now that Christian Hornergate has died down and the dust has settled, the allegations have faded to black, what's Jonathan Wheatley going to do if indeed he does harbour aspirations to be a team principal one day? Because Christian's not going anywhere. So how can he be that then at Red Bull? The rumour is that conversations are being had, not least of which with Sauber, soon to become Audi. Could Jonathan Wheatley be a Team P over there? Now, I don't doubt that he's competent, but the step up to team principal is a long one, a not insubstantial one. Jonathan Wheatley is a details guy, currently sports director at the Bulls that are red. We saw him a couple of years back checking through the race notes, through the rules and regs to understand how Max Verstappen could get maximum points, notwithstanding the fact that it was a rain-strewn race, half distance. So we know Jonathan Wheatley races hard, as does Christian Horner, per Abu Dhabi 21. We know these guys go hard each and every single time though. True or false, Helen? Max is doing exactly what he needs to remain on top. 100% focus on setup, driving on the edge, dodge the ball feathers. Yeah, Max is a bit good. Are we going to talk about Max and how good he is? I think, let me tell you about this very quickly. I think a lot of people need to put some more respect on Max's name, because the naysayers were waiting for a weekend like the weekend that we've just had. And I just saw a cheeky soundbite saying, if this is the worst weekend, if this is the worst version of Max Verstappen that we just saw at the Miami Grand Prix this weekend past, then God help the other 19 drivers. If this is the time, then he's going to make a mistake. If that was the time when we were going to see a Max Verstappen, a 3 soon to be 4-time champ Max Verstappen, vulnerable, making mistakes, hitting over bollards, driving with a hole in the underfloor, the all-important Venturi tunnels. If that was the time when Max was going to be, God help the rest of them for the rest of the season. If that's Max at his worst, the rest have no bloody hope. As brilliant as I think Lando Norris was this weekend past, as brilliant as I think Oscar Piastri in that McLaren, which is coming on, of course, can be in future years, as brilliant as the likes of Charles Leclerc is, and as industrial and pragmatic as Carlos Sainz is, with, by the way, Ferrari updates to come at Imola, the next Grand Prix, I think the rest are in for nightmares. This is Max Verstappen, for Pete's sake. And I know guys are saying that I'm reading too much into it to say post-race that Max Verstappen was unusually churlish, that this is Dutch humour. But listen, if you rewind back, I watch every post-race press conference, I'll be honest, and I can't remember seeing Max Verstappen being so churlish. I think he was irked. I will be honest. I don't think he liked it. That he lost, he said something to this effect, didn't he? If I had to lose to anyone, I would want it to be Lando Norris. That dude is my friend. That's why he fought and probably is still fighting to get Lando Norris in that second seat at Red Bull. But nevertheless, if Max Verstappen is who I think Max Verstappen is, he would have wanted to win that race. He would be doing the gap analysis. If I am the best, how did I not win that race? Christian Horner, Adrian Newey, Jonathan Wheatley, explain to me the gap analysis. I'm the best. This is supposed to be the best car. So how did we not win? And of course, the explain is rooted in the timing of the safety car. The deployment even of the safety car. Is safety car not at this point an unnecessary evil? If we are part-time purists, part-time casuals. Let me put this forth to you guys very quickly. Why do we even need a safety car? Non-rhetorical question. What's the need for a safety car? Because it's not on grounds of safety. We have the technology now to have virtual safety car. They can operate that from back in the pit lane. You don't need a safety car anymore. And if the accident's that dangerous and the time requisite to clear the debris, if it's that extensive, then just pull a cheeky red flag, surely. I don't know. You guys tell me in the chat. Am I being noddy here? Is there something that I'm missing? Or is it per Bernie Ecclestone, his original idea that the genesis of safety car in the first instance was to make this thing more exciting? When you get a boring race, if you have an accident, pull the safety car, concertina the pack back up so that when the safety car comes back and we get some racing and the audience don't turn their TVs off. Now we can debate this back and forth. Remember, I'm a part-time casual, part-time purist, so maybe I've not got a leg to stand on, eh? I watch Drive to Survive as much as the next man. Part-time casual. I enjoy when the safety car comes out and then all of a sudden we get some more racing. Who could argue, as controversial as the circumstance was in 2021, that it didn't add to the excitement, to the grandstand finish that we got in Abu Dhabi 21? Safety car is brilliant for the casual, for viewing, for suspense and stakes. The one and two things that I've been begging the F1 give us more of. A why. An additional incentivization, a why to watch. True or false? But yet and still, when you look at Miami Grand Prix, if you're Max Verstappen, you will be ruining, no questioning the intention behind not only the timing of the safety car even, but its execution. Why did the safety car come out ahead of Max Verstappen instead of the race lead Lando Norris? Fishy, eh? Fishy. Just a tad. But this is the weird and wacky world of F1. And at this point, ladies and gents, what else would you expect? Leopards, some say, do not change their spots. This is Formula One, and it always has been dodgy. An old boys club designed to be optimized for monetization. They want your money, not necessarily your participation. But I digress. Ladies and gents, prosecution rests. No further questions, Your Honour.